Have you ever just watched your dog and wondered what's really going on inside that furry little head? You know, those little quirks that are so familiar but still a total mystery? Well, today we're going to dive into one of the most common ones and uncover a secret that sounds like it's straight out of a superhero movie.
Oh, you know that feeling, right? That little nudge from a cold, wet nose. We've always kind of chalked it up to being a sign of a healthy pup or maybe something that helps with their incredible sense of smell. And you know what? That's part of the story. But it turns out we've been missing the biggest piece of the puzzle.
That cold, wet nose, it's actually a piece of incredibly sophisticated biological tech. It's a sensory organ so advanced, it gives your dog an ability that we humans just don't have. It's a genuine superpower hiding in plain sight this whole time. So, what was this incredible ability? Well, get this. Scientists have discovered that dogs can sense thermal radiation. To put it simply, they can detect the faint body heat of other animals from a distance. It's basically a form of heat vision. And the key to this whole thing is the tip of your dog's nose, which has a cool scientific name, the rhinarium. This little patch of skin is absolutely packed with nerve endings, way more than you'd need for just smelling. It's ground zero for this newly discovered sense. So this rhinarium, it's pretty much functioning as a biological infrared sensor. It's built to pick up on the faint heat signatures that radiate from living things. You can almost think of it like a built-in thermal camera, and it all comes down to a really simple principle of physics. And here's the secret sauce right from the research paper. It all works because of something called the cool detector principle. In thermal imaging, a colder sensor is way better at detecting faint heat. Since a dog's nose is naturally colder than its surroundings, it's perfectly primed to pick up on the tiny bit of warmth coming from, say, a mouse hiding in the grass. And you can literally see it right here. Look at that thermal image. That cool blue nose isn't an accident. It's a feature, not a bug. It's the very thing that makes the nose such an exquisitely sensitive heat detector. It's proof in plain sight. But okay, how did they actually prove this? Well, in a really clever study, researchers trained dogs to pick out a warm object, one that was heated to the same temperature as a small furry animal, from a neutral one. The amazing thing? The dogs could do it consistently, from a distance, without being able to see or smell any difference. They were literally seeing the heat. But to really see what was going on inside their heads, the team took it a step further. They got 13 trained volunteer dogs, good boys and girls, all of them, and put them into an fMRI machine to scan their brains while they were shown these faint heat signals. And this is the smoking gun. The fMRI scans showed a specific part of the brain, the left somatosensory cortex, lighting up like a Christmas tree in response to the warm object. Now that's the area that processes sensory info. It was definitive proof. The dog's brain was getting and processing information about distant heat, and it was all coming from its nose. So how does this even work on a microscopic level? I mean, how does a nerve ending actually feel temperature? Well, the answer is in these amazing little proteins that act like tiny switches all over the body. They're called TRP channels, and the easiest way to think of them is as the body's microscopic thermometers. These proteins are just sitting there in the nerve endings, and when they detect a specific temperature change or even a chemical, they just flick open, sending a signal to the brain that we feel as heat or cold, or sometimes even pain. Let's just look at one of the most famous ones, TRPV1. This is the channel that tells your brain, hey, this is painfully hot. It activates at temperatures over about 43 degrees Celsius, or 109 Fahrenheit. But here's the really wild part. It's also activated by capsaicin, you know, the chemical in chili peppers. This is why spicy food feels physically hot. The pepper is literally tricking your brain into flipping the exact same switch as actual heat. And understanding these little switches isn't just a fun biology fact. It has real-world uses for our dogs. Because that TRPV1 channel is also involved in sensations like pain and inflammation, researchers have found that blocking it can be a really effective way to treat chronic itching. The scientific term is pruritus, which can happen with things like paw inflammation. So just like there's a heat switch, there's a cold switch too. It's mostly a channel called TRPM8. And what's so fascinating is that these channels are not calibrated the same in every species. Research suggests that the cold sensing channel in dogs only kicks in at a much lower temperature than it does for us. This means what feels chilly to us is a fundamentally different sensation for our dogs. Okay, so now that we're armed with this amazing new knowledge about how our dogs literally sense the world through temperature, how can we use it to take better care of them, especially when winter rolls around? Let's connect the science to some really practical tips.
All right, let's run through this science-backed checklist. First up, protect their paws. Road salt is no joke. It can be really irritating, so washing and moisturizing their paw pads after a winter walk is a huge help. Second, consider a coat. Knowing they feel cold differently is one thing, but small, short-haired, or older dogs can still have trouble regulating their body temperature, and a good coat can make all the difference. Third, watch out for snow gastritis. Yeah, it's a thing. It might look fun, but eating a ton of snow can cause some pretty painful stomach inflammation. And finally, number 4, fuel their internal furnace. A properly balanced diet, like one that follows FEDIAF guidelines, gives them the crucial energy they need to generate their own body heat and stay warm from the inside out.
Isn't that incredible? Just when we think we know our dogs, science comes along and reveals these hidden layers and secret abilities. It really makes you wonder, if their nose is basically a thermal camera, what other amazing secrets are they keeping from us? A huge thank you for joining me for this little deep dive. The amazing research we talked about today comes from these key sources. Now, go find your dog and give that incredible cold nose a little appreciative pat, because now you know the secret behind it.